Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at ThunderWizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at ThunderWizard.com. Get ready, because here I come. Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. I hope you're all doing well this evening. I thought I would lighten the mood a little bit and just come on and talk about meditation. Talk about what it is, what it isn't. By the way, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please make your way to the channel homepage on YouTube. You can just type in Thunder Wizard on YouTube. You'll find my homepage. Go on there. Please avail yourself of all of the playlists in reference to this video. Please enjoy looking at the meditation and the Qigong sections in there. There's no shortage of free meditations and energy practices for you to make use of. If you'd like to engage in my personal opinion, the most powerful energy practice in the history of the human race that's been revealed publicly, you can go to ThunderWizard.com, click around until you get to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. That is the most powerful and the most advanced energy practices that I know of. But there's no shortage of highly powerful practices on the channel, including the Awakening the Immortals Qigong, which is also very high level energetic practices. Okay, so meditation, what is it? So I don't know about you, what you've heard. I know that for me, when I hear somebody talk about meditation, my first response is, what style of meditation? A lot of people don't know how to respond to that question because there's a very stereotypical understanding about what meditation is. So lots of times when people will ask me what I do, I never really know what to say, and sometimes I will say I'm a meditation teacher. And people will say, oh yeah, I tried that, I can't meditate. And I'll go, what do you mean you can't meditate? They say, I can't empty my mind. And I'll say, that's not what meditation is. And then they get another strange look on their face. What do you mean that's not what meditation is? That's what I've heard, you empty your mind. And I said, I can't do that, and I'm a meditation teacher. So I don't know what your view of meditation is. There are literally thousands of different meditation techniques in existence. And ultimately, you have to find the one that works best for you. I am an energy junkie. I love high power energy things. And so I do meditations that make me feel like this guy right over here. That's what I go after. That might not be your thing. But whatever your meditation of preference is, the empty mind that people talk about, emptying your mind, is the result of meditation. It is not the technique. In fact, for most people, if most people sit and just simply try and empty their mind, they will end up getting bored, or they will get uncomfortable, or they won't really know what to do. But some people have found and continue to find very enlightened states of being simply by emptying their mind. I had a student years ago who could do that. He could just sit, and he would just sit down, and that was it. He'd be gone for hours if need be. that he could very easily meditate. He had a gift, and he would go straight into that emptiness mind. So let's talk about the different types of meditation. So there's the basic form of meditation, which is the Zazen style of meditation, which is just sitting and doing nothing, just sitting and not focusing on anything, not doing anything, and that is again going straight into that emptiness style of meditation. There is mantra meditation. Mantra meditation is its own unique technique of meditation, and mantra meditation, in my experience, is specifically designed to vibrate on a particular energetic level that is associated with things in your unconscious mind. Now, I am a Vedic astrologer. You can go to astrology.thunderwizard.com to see my astrology website. And I learned the hard way that in order to get a mantra that works for you, you need to find a Vedic astrologer who actually understands mantra and can prescribe mantra based on your chart. I spent years in Kundalini Yoga. I was a Kundalini Yoga instructor, and the Yogi Bhajan style. There's tons of really great mantras in there. And I did a lot of those, and I had some wonderful experiences. But the one thing that was evading me was the ability to gain any real prosperity in my life. I could do exercises and meditations that did all kinds of wonderful things to my energy body and made me feel good, and I could space out on them, but my life physically, financially was going nowhere. And so it wasn't until I got together with a Vedic astrologer whose one of his focus was to prescribe mantras based on your Vedic astrology. And I actually have a video of me interviewing him. His name is Freedom Cole. Please, if you want to, feel free to seek him out. He's a recognized expert in Vedic astrology, and rightly so. And so I learned a little bit from him. I learned enough to create my own style of Vedic astrology. And that is one of the things that I really focused on, was to learn how to find specific mantras based on your chart. So for me, mantra meditation is very powerful, but it's in its own class. And it's about vibrating at a specific level that flips on and stimulates within your unconscious mind using Kundalini and sound currents to help you to vibrate at the best level for you based on your chart. There are some mantras out there that are all-purpose. For instance, there are some well-known ones like the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur, Om Bhuvaha, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tat Savitur Varanyam, Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yonah Prachodayat. That may be the oldest, most chanted mantra in history. It is chanted by Hindus, Tantrics, and Tibetan Buddhists, and it has been chanted for perhaps thousands of years. I don't know how old it is. Another one is the Triambakam mantra, which comes directly from the Vedas. Triambakam yajammahe sugantim pushtivartanam urvarukamiva bantanam mrityormukshya amritat. That's a mantra of Shiva. That actually is one, I just felt it, sort of kind of explode blissfully inside of me as I did that, because it does align with my chart very well, but it is also one of those mantras that anybody can do and you can have powerful experience with. There's the Om Namah Shivaya mantra. There's Om Mane Padme Hum. There's a few others that are mantras that pretty much anybody can do and get benefit from. But mantra, for me, it can put you into that space of emptiness. And for me, each mantra has a different effect. So it really is what you're looking for and what you want to accomplish with it. It is a science, and again, I find it directly connected with Vedic astrology. So there's mantra. Mantra is very good for working through unconscious blocks. And mantra meditation is good when you do it every day. Like if you get an astrologer who can give you a mantra that is based on your chart, you can do that every day for the rest of your life, and continuing to do it every day, like brushing your teeth, taking vitamin C, showering, just make it part of your everyday routine. You will find that over time, you will become more and more conscious. You will become more and more successful in your life. You will become more and more able to have deeper, more meaningful relationships. And your life in general, your physical body, will just get better. That's my experience with mantra. Mantra also works if you have a very specific problem. You can look at your chart and see, when you're prescribing a mantra for somebody, there's a few different ways to do it. But if you're going to a Vedic astrologer for a mantra prescription for a specific problem, one of the things that the astrologer will look at the chart and see what are the different planets doing in your life. And so you can either choose to find the problem planet. Let's say it's, if Saturn is in a position where Saturn is bringing a lot of karmic issues weighing on you, then you might want to decide, all right, let's placate Saturn. So you would do a mantra to Saturn with the idea of placating it, trying to calm it down, make it happy so that it can work through your karmic issues in ways that are more pleasant for you. The other way that works is to say, okay, Saturn is the problem planet, and let's see in your chart which planet might be opposing it so that you can offset it. And then you can use that planet to sort of stare Saturn down and say, hey, calm down, calm down. And then that other side will come through. I've tried both of those methods, and both of them have worked. There have been times where I've given people mantras and it makes things worse, and I go, well, then let's look at your chart and see what planet is opposing that. I've given them the opposite planet, and everything turns around and their life gets 100% better. And so in those cases, you want to do vows. So sometimes with mantra meditation, you can do vows where you chant a specific mantra with a ritual. Usually will have you facing a specific direction, offering a specific offering to the deity of the mantra and the planet, and you'll do that for a specific time frame. 40 days is the basic time frame, and the reason for that, and the reason why even in the Abrahamic tradition you hear about 40 days, but you hear 40 days all over the world. I mean, there are places in the world where when somebody dies, they will mourn for 40 days. And those are cultures that have nothing to do with the Abrahamic tradition. So there's something to that. And that's because it takes a minimum of 40 days before the unconscious will release a mistaken attachment. So your unconscious mind may have been programmed to operate in a certain way, and that programming may actually be harmful and damaging to you. It may be sabotaging your life. You're not aware of it because you're programmed by it and you don't even realize you're doing it. And so by doing a specific mantra for at least 40 days, you then begin to break the hold of your unconscious over that. In those instances, sometimes people during that 40-day vow will find themselves having a lot of emotional upheaval. And that's simply because the unconscious mind does not want to let go of what it believes to be necessary for you to survive. It's a survival mechanism. And then when it realizes, oh, that's not helpful, I see that now, it'll let go. Sometimes it'll take 90 days before a unconscious attachment will break and let go. There are, if you really want to get serious about a specific mantra as a vow, you can do a mantra for an entire year. And the idea behind that is that you're taking that mantra through all 12 houses of your chart, because it takes a year for you to do that. And then you will have chanted the mantra through every aspect of your chart. I've even found times if you do a mantra for 3 days or 7 days, sometimes you will have a concentrated experience, because all that matters is that you're focused for a period of time. And again, linear time is an illusion after all. So that's when you have a specific problem you want to use meditation for. Now, because I've been introduced to so many different techniques of meditation, if I'm really working a serious energy practice at that moment in my life, I might do a few different techniques. So I might do some energy work, which is what you're seeing me do here, the lightning qigong, which again I'm teaching up here. And there's free qigong right there. That's the heaven and earth meditation, which you can get for free on my YouTube channel. And so that's an energy meditation. And that meditation uses postures, movements. It may incorporate visualization. It's not necessary. Not everybody's good at visualization. It doesn't matter. As long as you do the physical movements and the proper breath, the movement, every time that you move your body, you flip on different switches in your meridians. And so there are techniques that you can use to actually flip on certain meridians and connect them to certain energy pathways. And of course, when you do any kind of meditation, just the intent to meditate immediately connects you to the quantum field. We didn't talk about that, but if you really want to understand why meditation is so important, it's good to operate from the correct assumption about meditation. There's a lot of people that meditate and don't know what it is, just like there's a lot of people that go and do yoga and they have no idea what yoga originally was for, all of that stuff. I won't get into that in this video. But a lot of people think meditating is just lying down and relaxing. Nothing wrong with that. It's not necessarily meditation, but your intent in any meditative practice is to connect yourself to the quantum field. What is the quantum field? This is now we're using words that come from the science of physics. Physics is now finally catching up. Theoretical physics is finally catching up to what the ancients have been saying for thousands of years about the nature of reality and the nature of the universe. And one of them is the quantum entanglement, which means that something that happens here, where I'm at, right here, sitting at my table here doing this video, what happens here is happening a million light years away. That there's no difference, that the perception of distance is an illusion, because actually there is a quantum field where there is no distance. This idea of non-locality. There is no one place. Just like there is no one center of the universe. Wherever you are happens to be the center of the universe. So when you meditate, the assumption is that your intent, whatever technique you are using, is to connect you to that quantum field. What is that quantum field? The quantum field is the base structure of everything. And everything is consciousness. This is fundamental to shamanism. So it's kind of a tragedy that the word shamanism has been hijacked. I mean, it's a word, so people change the definitions of words all the time. But when neo-shamanism came into vogue in the 80s, because that's when it's popped its head up again. You didn't hear of shamanism until the early to mid 80s, and then this word shamanism popped up. And that became the big thing. But back then, shamanism was connected to the actual word shaman, which is a Siberian word, and it means priest or priestess. So the Tengarist religion, which is the Siberian indigenous religion where the word shaman comes from, the Tengarist religion is a religion that believes that everything has consciousness. This is why shamanism is often conflated with Native American religion. And some people use the inaccurate term Native American shamanism, which, by the way, Native Americans cannot stand that for the most part. They cannot stand that because they are not Siberians. They are not Tengarists. They happen to have the same fundamental belief about the universe as every truly indigenous culture does, including my pre-Christian ancestors. Everybody, if you go back in their religion far enough, you will find a belief that everything has consciousness, whether it's a rock, whether it's this flute right here, whether it's my coffee cup, whether it's my watch, my car, the birds, the sky, the mountains, the ocean. Everything is seen as having a consciousness, an awareness. And that the shaman, which is the priest or the priestess, is merely an intermediary that communicates with all things. Now, not everybody has that gift. So if there's, for instance, some problem in the tribe, the shaman will be asked to go and find out what the problem is. So the shaman will go into a shamanic meditative state, and as a result may communicate with the spirit of something. Who knows what it is? It might be an ancestor spirit, it might be something in the earth, it might be, who knows what it is. But they will come out and they will say, I spoke to this spirit and this is the problem and here's the solution. And so that is coming from the assumption that everything vibrates from this quantum field of consciousness. And it's everything in creation, if you want to use that word, everything in manifested reality has a connection to this quantum web, might even be a better way to phrase it. My ancestors used the phrase web of weird, which meant the quantum field or the quantum web of consciousness. So whenever you go into meditation, the assumption is your intent is to tap into that quantum field. And you're seeking to move away from your three-dimensional limited physical reality, which you need to have in order to function. You have to be in your physical body in order to drive your car down the street. Otherwise, you'll crash your car. But when you're going to meditate, you want to get into that quantum field. And even if you don't feel it, that is your intention. So whatever technique you use, the fundamental assumption is to tap into that quantum web of consciousness. And the deeper you go into your meditation, ideally the deeper your experience is of that. And so the end result of that, you will have this experience of having an empty mind. But the empty mind isn't necessarily empty. You've just tapped into everything. And so you're not wrapped up in your tiny little narcissistic bubble. And so there's that feeling of emptiness, but it's really not emptiness. It's actually expansive awareness, awareness of everything. You, at the higher levels, you see yourself in everything and in everybody. You see everything and everybody within you. And there's no feeling of separation. You're now in that space of non-locality that the physicists are now coming to the awareness of, that is the basis of all reality. Is that there's this this non-local quantum entanglement of everything. So this is your intent behind meditation. Now, if you're like me, I have a very active mind. My mind never, ever shuts off. Ever. I never have like one moment. There's my brain always has a song in its head, in my head, all the time. I've always got some kind of background noise in my head. So for me, what really helps is if I get my physical body involved. And this is why I am a Qigong teacher, because getting my physical body involved in doing movement combined with breath, which for me taps me directly into the field of life force energy, which is what Qigong is about. It's a meditative practice that allows you to tap into the energy field of all things. And so when I do movement and breath following specific guidelines, I have this feeling of power flowing through me, and that calms my mind down. And it allows me to let the mind just sort of relax a little bit. I also sometimes function well with visualization. As long as it's not too complicated, visualization and physical movement combined with intent is also something very powerful for me. Now that's a different technique. There's sitting and meditating. There's mantra meditation. There's Qigong and energy movement. And for me, these are all different techniques. And if I'm really serious about working a spiritual practice on a given day, I might use all three of those techniques. And I find that the combination of all of them actually gives me a tremendous feeling of power. And again, that's my thing. I like to feel connected to huge amounts of power. And I actually teach that triune method here at the Warrior 90-Day Challenge Lightning Qigong. So if you want to try that out, you can. Let's see, what is the date? It's the 25th. So if you wanted to sign up for the Warrior 90-Day Challenge now, you're going to be charged for that for this month. And if you do that now, since it's the last week before the end of the month, when the new month comes around and you get charged again, you can email me through the Patreon system there and let me know, and I will refund you for the week that you. I'll give you a free. You'll end up getting a free week out of it if you want to do that. But you certainly aren't limited to that. There's no shortage of free meditations on this channel, and I invite you to look at the playlists. And so I have, once again, I've been saying this the whole time, that listen, the whole point of this channel is to do the work. I come on and I talk about a lot of crazy stuff. And I've changed my opinion and my position numerous times since I've started this channel. But the one thing that I haven't changed on is that the whole point of this channel is to do the work, to do the meditative work, whether it's Qigong, whether it's mantra, whether it's just meditation itself, whatever it is, the work is what's important. This channel is about transformation. Now, this has always been a focus for me. It's always been the main reason for having this channel, is to provide a place where people can get transformation in their lives. But if you've watched my most recent video, I have now come to the realization that transformation through meditative practice is the single most important thing in human existence. It's more important than anything. And that it is my belief that our destiny as human beings is to become more spiritually aligned. All of the things you've been hearing about ascension, the Aquarian age, transformation, all that stuff, actually turns out to be very accurate. And we, in my opinion, are in the beginning phases of a massive evolutionary shift to a higher level of existence that will focus on meditative techniques. To be a higher level being is to be living in a meditative state 24/7. I haven't gotten to that state yet. Perhaps you haven't either. So it is in our best interest for us to practice this. And I believe it should be the most important thing in existence. It is my belief that if the trajectory of human evolution goes according to what is in our best interest, then perhaps even before the end of my physical lifetime here on this planet, meditation will be the primary goal for education for children. That the first thing that children will learn will be meditative practices, because without those meditative practices, they may not be able to interface with where human civilization is headed. And I believe that our civilization is headed into a higher level of existence, which requires a meditative state. And the great thing is that our physical bodies have within them these 5 organs. They have the chakra system. They have the 3 dantians, the energy centers that Taoism talks about, and the meridian system in the body. And all of these things, when they are stimulated, when they are switched on, what ends up happening is that the dormant DNA that science believes is junk DNA, the dormant DNA in your physical body gets switched on. And then, in other words, if you're a meditator and you've switched these on and you have children, your children's DNA will already be further switched on than yours, and then their children, and so on and so on. And this is how evolution occurs. If we as a species do not do this, then what happens is more and more of this DNA that is connected to the quantum field gets turned off, and more children that are born have less and less of it. And then the universe goes, those human beings, they're kind of reaching the end of their evolutionary potential, so we're just going to phase that species out of existence, just like the Neanderthals and the saber-toothed tiger and dinosaurs. They all kind of reached the end, and they weren't able to pass on any helpful genetic information into the generations that came after. So the universe said, I think we're done with that experiment. We'll move on to another species now. And then it was after all of that, after all those different experiments happened over millions of years, that the universe said, let's try the primates. Let's see how they do. Maybe they'll be able to pick up and evolve. And we actually have a lot of promise. And it is my belief that human beings have a special role in the universe. We haven't tapped into that completely yet, but that the universe and all of the conscious beings in the universe are pulling for us. They're rooting for us, and they want to help us. But it's up to us to do the work. So this channel is about doing the work, doing the meditations. Everything I say is really meaningless if you're not doing the work, so I encourage you to do so. And all of the links here are here designed to help you to do that. Courses.thunderwizard.com, all of my courses, all of my services, my books. Maoshan.thunderwizard.com is the elite practice. If you are so inclined and you're brave enough, you can give that a try. I guarantee you, you will not find any more powerful, energetic practice on the planet. I'm willing to be wrong about that, but so far, nobody has ever found anything that even comes close. So that's it for my little lecture on meditation. I'm happy to take any questions. If you have a question, write the word question in all caps, just the word question, and then ask the question. And the other thing that I prefer to see is your honest feelings. A feeling is I'm scared, I'm happy, I'm confused. Those are feelings. I'm not interested in your opinions, I'm interested in your feelings and your questions. Let's take a look and see what we got here. So, Vincent.thunderwizard.com, he says hello, and he is one of my certified astrologers, and he's a very powerful shaman in his own right. You can check out his YouTube channel, Gebo the Shaman, and you can go to his website, vincent.thunderwizard.com. If you want me to do for you what I just did for him, you can go to lockdown, LOCKDOWN, .thunderwizard.com, and if you purchase that system there and you pass the very simple test and you wave your hand and show up on a live stream, I will tell people to go check out your website also. Zerlath, question. 40 days is longer than a moon cycle. Is it related? I don't know. I don't know. I know less and less every day. I tell you, I used to know a lot of stuff. I don't know a whole heck of a lot anymore. Here's what I know. You want to know what I know? So I'm sorry, I can't answer your questions there, Lath, but what I know is this, is that the universe is love. And to get, closer and closer to the source of all existence, the only way to do that is to live a path of love and unity. And that means you got to take a look at your own garbage within you. You got to work through it and move past it. All the rest of it is kind of meaningless. I guarantee you, when you walk away from this earth, you will not be thinking about how much money you made, what you did for a living, how much fame you had. You won't be thinking about any of that. You'll be thinking about, did you live your life in such a way that you gave your soul ability to express, and did you experience love, and did you give love? That's the only thing that's going to matter. And as it turns out, that is the path to incredible spiritual power. And that's all I know. All I know is that truly powerful beings operate from love. And if a being does not operate from love, they don't have any power. As you can tell, power is my thing. So that's all I know. Athamanimist, hello my friend, he says, question, would you say that an examination of the meanings of the seed sounds of a mantra can be a positive and beneficial bonus to actually using the mantra? Absolutely, that can be the meditation. If you know what the seed sounds mean, and you can try and look at what those seed sounds linked together are creating. You can follow that. I think that is a really powerful visualization and meditation. And while you're chanting the mantra and focusing on the meaning of that, it can be incredibly powerful. It's also not necessary. You can just simply chant the mantra and just get lost and go nowhere. But to answer your question, yes, it can be a very positive, beneficial bonus. And how does it help? Well, if we go back to what mantra supposedly is, according to the Vedics, the oldest mantras were not constructed. They were seen. So the ancient rishis, these are the ancient seers, they didn't come up with, here's a really cool thing to say. People use the word mantra in modern parlance inaccurately. They'll say, my mantra is always go for the best. That's not a mantra. That's a positive affirmation. A mantra comes from two words. It means the carrier of the mind, or the vehicle for the mind. Bear in mind, when I use the word mind, I don't mean intellect. Most people, when you hear the word mind, they think the brain, the intellect. No, mind is something different. But without getting into all of that, a mantra means the vehicle for the mind. And so the mind rides the vehicle, which is the sound vibration. The rishis didn't come up with, here's a cool mantra, I'll use this sound and this sound and this sound. They, in a shamanic state, either saw the mantra or they heard it. And they then, before they wrote things down, they would chant them. So that's why the mantras that you hear, like some of the old ones, are chanted in a sing-songy way, because these rishis are in deep meditation and they are reciting what they're hearing. Triambakam yajammahe sugantim pushtivartanam. When it comes to seed sounds, we're dealing with the very essence of the building blocks of the universe. I recently heard somebody I respect who claimed to have gone out into space and seen the Earth from there. In that spiritual experience, this person heard the sound of Earth. And interesting as it is, guess what the sound was? Ooh. What is it that the Hul breath is? It's the sound of Mother Earth. Ooh. We put the L on there for a different reason. The Taoists also say that the sound for the earth element is that sound. So apparently that's the sound that is continuously coming from Earth. So when you chant that seed sound, you are tapping directly into that building block of the universe, which happens to be our Mother Earth, our planet of origin. So other planets have their own sounds, and so this is what mantra in its essence is. So each of these seed sounds are going to be different building blocks of this quantum field. So of course, the more that you focus on these quantum field seed sounds and vibrate them, you're going to tap into the essence of the universe. This is what runes are, by the way, as well. Runes are actually a form of mantra, and they tap directly into the underlying building blocks of the universe, the sound vibration of the universe. So that's a great question. Wesley Warren, welcome to the channel. So on this channel, we ask questions. So if you look, you'll see above you somebody has written the word question, and they have asked a question. So if you have a question, please do that, otherwise I'll miss it. I can tell you're new to the channel because of the question that you ask, and the answer to your question is no. I am not a former secret agent. Zerlath, honest feeling. I get lost in... it was a car. I get lost in heathen traditional music as Qigong. Well, that's technically not Qigong. I mean, you might do some spontaneous movement, if that's what you're saying. Let's say this makes everyday magic no matter how dull. I mean, we're just, we're getting picky-uni over words, but they mean something. I'm not trying to discount your spiritual experience from listening to heathen music, but that isn't Qigong. You may feel energy from it. Certainly I can understand that, but that's not Qigong. Qigong is a specific science, a specific type of practice. So you can call it whatever you want. If you want to call it Qigong, you can, but I'm just pointing out that that's a little different, but no less powerful meditation by all means. If that's what works for you, by all means, do it as much as you want. Let's see, what else? Jedi Black Knight, question. I see that the word meditation starts with medi. Does this primarily imply centering? I honestly don't know. It clearly is a Latin word, isn't it? I'm sure it comes from the, let's look it up. The verb in Latin, just because I used to know Latin, meditare. That would have been the verb form. Let's see what comes up. Meditare. Spanish, that's it in Spanish too, meditar. Meditare. I'm not seeing the Latin. Okay, so let's try this. Let's do meditation etymology. Let's find out what the etymology of the word is, because I had never looked at that. So meditation etymology, it means, so it comes from Latin meditation. Is that French or? Yeah, and then in French it's meditation. From Latin meditationem, so it's not a verb. Thinking over. Noun of action from past participle stem of meditari, that's the verb. To meditate, think over, reflect, consider, from frequentative form of Proto-Indo-European root med, to take appropriate measures. So there's where you get middle. Middle has to do with that. So it means to measure, which would be you're thinking something over. So I guess its original intention had to do with more of the intellect, to think something over, to ponder something. Whereas these days we use the word meditation to mean something a little different. To meditate or to ponder is more of an intellectual thing. Anyway, that was an interesting question. I had not looked at that, but there you go. There's the answer. What else? Yeah, Zeralath, I like Socratic doubt, gnosis, but as you know, if you've been on my channel, I'm not big on the Western tradition. I find it too intellectual. So we're talking about, again, two different things. Robert Seaman question, how important are mudras in relation to mantras? Well, mudra is a whole different science. Mudras are not necessarily have to be done with mantra. Mudras are a very powerful science. And in terms of mantra, but some mantras, depending on the teacher, they may give you a specific mudra for a mantra. So how important are they? That would depend on the exact meditation and the exact ritual involved. Some rituals have mantras with specific mudras associated with them. I mean, when you get into some of the deep tantric, by the way, tantra has nothing to do with sex, no matter what anybody tells you. It means technique. Some of the deep energy techniques that are used, there will be very elaborate mantras and meditations and mudras and movements and all kinds of stuff. So it just really depends on the exact tradition and technique that you're playing around with. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, honest feeling. I'm feeling anxious and confused during a birth time rectification for a client, and I'm not confident in my ability to do my job properly, but I won't give up or let it stop me. Good for you. Oh, he says, clarify, I do Qigong with the music. Ah, I gotcha. All right, that's different. Well, that sounds like fun. That turns, music has a lot of power in and of itself as well. So anyway, my apologies. I misunderstood you. Thank you for the clarification. All right, I don't see any more questions here, so we can make this a short one. I dropped a pretty heavy bomb, at least for me, this morning. My first video that I put out there, and I didn't do that because I thought it was cute or a good idea. I did it because I just felt so strongly that I needed to do my part and get that information out there. But I think it's important to focus on the positive. There's so much negative garbage out there, and fear really is not a good motivator for anything positive. So I thought I'd make this video today to just go over, again, some ideas about meditation. If you are new to the channel and you want to learn some powerful meditative techniques, all of these links, thunderwizard.com, courses.thunderwizard.com, maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Those links are there for you. And again, you can just go onto the free YouTube channel, look through the playlists. And if you want to thank me for the work that I'm doing, of course, you can support the channel. That helps pay the bills, keeps the lights on. But what is most important to me is that you do the work. Do some kind of meditation on a daily basis where you connect to that quantum field and tap into that unending vibration of love and nurturing. And by doing that, you will benefit me and every other being in the universe. And if you do that, you will have my eternal gratitude for taking care of yourself. All right, that's it for me. I wish you guys all the best. I love you. I want you to be happy and experience joy, peace, and the bliss of the awareness of your infinite soul. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, I will. You can leave comments on the videos. If you have questions about anything, you can leave them on the comments sections, not necessarily on the chat, but the comment sections of the videos. And if I like your question, I will make a video about that question. Keep your eyes peeled because I'm about to upload a couple of new meditations. They're actually additions to meditations I've already given you that have been downloaded to me recently, which are incredibly powerful. And I'll explain those, and those will be in the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. If you subscribe to that, you will have access to those meditations. All right. Thank you, my friends. I wish you all the best. I will see you all next time around. Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at thunderwizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at thunderwizard.com. Get ready, because here I come.